that it all started for me whenever I was very young, probably around like 7 or 8.
I always got the reports from the school and stuff, but it never really affected my life until I started getting older and I started to be able to make choices on my own.
I think I started experiencing signs of mental illness maybe even before the age of 10. I was experiencing depression.
When I was a kid dealing with severe PTSD and trauma.
My parents got divorced and I had to spend like either or at both parents' houses, and it was really, really tough because they were going through this at the same time that I was.
That's when I really started to notice there was an impact in my life and I started to make bad choices.
And it all came to a head when I was a teenager and a lot of my symptoms started coming up.
Everything got worse when I joined the Marine Corps and got out and was actually officially diagnosed with severe PTSD.
And it made me kind of like dissociate a little bit for the first time because I wasn't used to like having to deal with all of these emotions, and I didn't want to deal with all of these emotions.
I started using back in 2006 when I got out of the Marine Corps, and it took 6 years in multiple treatment facilities to get clean and sober in 2012.
For a long time, I was hoping a lot of it was situational and a lot of it isn't.
What's hardest for me is trying to balance my mental illness and being a mom as well, because I always have to be like upbeat and happy and patient with him.
Being able to explain some of my stuff to my family, because my family is not very educated or understanding on some of these things. Some of my family is, but the hardest part is explaining it to the ones that are not, because they just kind of see it as not a thing.
Finding a balance between taking care of myself mentally and making sure that I'm emotionally available to help out my members in the field and to offer the services that other people need.
The hardest thing for me right now is actually going through deep, intense therapy that I have to do on a bi-weekly basis. I know it's much needed. It just makes things a lot harder because I'm actually bringing up a lot of the trauma that's happened in my past.
And I think it's really, really tough to try and like battle your own demons while you're trying to like be patient and deal with someone who doesn't understand what that is.
And so just being able to explain my feelings and be able to express myself in ways that don't cause conflicts or cause issues in our family has been the most difficult part for me.
Work is work. It's always stressful, but it's also a blessing. It's just also balancing out everything else, trying to go to school, have my wonderful family, my kids.
I found that once you find that balance, having that experience as a peer makes my job all the more easier.
What really helps me is, again, my son, because he makes me be patient. He makes me like happy, and he makes me like forget about the things that I'm dealing with in my head.
Being able to surround myself with supportive people who understand, people who are caring and loving and support me regardless of what I'm going through.
Being on a certain set of medications that help maintain my mood.
I am actively involved in a church and actively involved in hobbies like kickboxing, doing Muay Thai, golfing.
He brings me out of those darkest times. He reminds me that I have to like shower because I have to give him a bath, and he reminds me that I have to eat because he's hungry, and he reminds me that I still have like a life to deal with instead of just like sitting in bed all day.
When my mind's not always clear or I'm struggling, or I have these difficult times, being able to fall back and rely on people has been the biggest thing that's helped me.
Things that kind of help me stay out of my mindset and help with that negative thought process that I deal with.
Having a big support system, making sure that you're surrounded by people who understand and people who are willing to support you through these times.
What I would really like people to know is that, one, you're not alone in this, and that there's millions of people dealing with this and they understand.
There is a way out. There is a way to be able to make your life productive. There is a way to be able to bring purpose to your past.
There are a lot of emotions that come with the day-to-day life, but at the same time, sometimes they can be unbearable.
Mental health is real. Substance abuse is real, and and people need help.
And it doesn't make us bad people. It just makes us more vulnerable people.
There is a way out. There is a way to be able to make your life productive. There is a way to be able to bring purpose to your past.
And we know that you're not a bad person, and we know that it's hard to deal with mental illness.
We're regular people. We have our problems, but we've learned how to cope with them and move on in life.
So if you're watching this, I just want to let you know that everything's okay and you're not alone. And so many other people go through this on a day-to-day basis, and it does get better. There are certain steps that you can take, and your life doesn't need to be this dark void forever. Everything that you are feeling is valid, and you're not alone.